Welcome to Not Flash in the Fundamentals. This is the sponsor of Flash in the Fundamentals, Scott Baldwin, and I actually completely forget your name. Clara. Just like Back to the Future 3.
Yes, sir. Absolutely correct.
There you go.
I couldn't have done any better.
Right. I met her. She sat in the time machine.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Yeah.
He is visiting LA and decided he wanted to talk about the business of time machine rental. And I went, all right. And so we're going to do that. I don't usually talk about this, so this is going to be a little strange for me. But our story is so unique that I figured, you know what? Let's do that. But first.
Yes, first.
In order for you to be part of this,
yes,
he brought the only reason this. If you too want an interview at the Golf Con bar, this is the ticket. This is the golden ticket to do that.
It's cheap. It's a cheap ticket.
Yeah, it can be if you know the right place. I showed him the right place to buy it. It's a Lagavulin. It's my favorite whiskey, and he's not a drinker, so this is not the first whiskey he should try. However. It is the signature drink. There, it's hardly anything.
Yes.
The signature drink of Golf Con Bar. If you notice right here, I have my own drink. It's called a Whiskey Perfect. And it's a mixed drink, except that you never mix anything because you never fucking mix anything with a Lagavulin. Goddamn. Okay. So this is called a Whiskey Perfect. You just drink it next to a Pepsi Perfect. And that is my signature drink at the Golf Con Bar.
Gotcha.
Now, the trick to this is I'm going to make you take one sip without any ice.
Okay.
And here's all you do. Cheers.
Cheers. Yes.
To the new event. Just go like this.
Just touch the
Just
tongue.
enough to get. It's going to be a lot. Don't swallow a lot. It's a lot. Okay. All right. It's awful. I get it. I understand that it's awful. Right.
Just kidding.
Now that you've at least wet your whistle.
Yes. Now we can put it in there and enjoy it.
Take a little sip.
Little taste.
A little sip. And you'll notice in the after breath and after taste, there is this smoky, wooden.
Oh yeah, you're right.
It's kind of an intense camping type. And as a guy from Ohio who camped, my whole family's going camping in a few days. I'm very excited.
Oh, that's very cool.
And it's it feels like a campfire to me. So.
Well, as anyone that knows me knows this is not who I am in a way, but. It's a special occasion.
This is a celebration because you did everything I told you not to do and worked out.
Exactly.
And that's awesome. So let me give you a tiny little background as to how I first heard of him. I got an email in November, was it? October? Somewhere
October,
else.
yes.
October of last year.
Yep.
And it was so professional, like I had to wipe the sleep out of my eyes, and I'm like, okay, wait. It had bullet points. It had specific questions he needed me to answer. And I just was like, the fuck is this? I just couldn't believe anybody took as much time as you did. And I wasn't going to answer all the questions. And I also thought you deserved a phone call because it was so professional. So I called you right off the bat. We talked for, I think, over an hour that first time. And he wanted to start a DeLorean business. Had you seen anything I had done? How did you know to contact me?
Well, interestingly, I had contacted about, I'd say, almost a dozen time machine owners. Just, in the States.
Anywhere you
could find it. I mean, I was just Googling. Nobody would contact me. Nobody would call me. There's other, businesses that do what we do.
Welcome to the community.
Yeah, and I was just, I understand, competition, things of that nature, but, my questions were very, it was just kind of like, just need a little information
very
about
intimidating if you have an ego issue.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the problem.
Very intimidating, yeah.
And, you were the only one, and I found your website and I looked at it like, man, this guy's really just got his act together. Yeah. And, I took a chance. I honestly didn't, everyone I contacted, I honestly did not think you would contact me back. Right. So, because, of everyone, you've done so much.
Didn't have time.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, man, this guy's not going to call me. And I was just blown away. I think within the same day I sent you the email, you contacted me. Like, just call me. And I'm like, holy crap. And, I told Claire, I'm like, I can't believe this guy's going to talk to me. He's going to, so I got on, we talked for an hour and a half, and you're very generous on it.
When I first got into the community, I, too, thought, oh, wow, I'm entering this brotherhood. Like, we're all going to be friends, and we're all going to help each other, and I found out pretty quickly, not so. I don't talk much about my actual introduction because it involves the contractor
Yes.
that made the car that was a bad situation.
Right.
And now that you've gone through a difficult situation, not bad, but difficult, you kind of don't want to ever mention it.
Well, when you start a business, it's interesting because I own another one, as you know. I own a self-defense school in New Albany, and when I started out, there was the same trials and tribulations you just don't anticipate when doing this. And when doing my research and finding out about you, and after speaking with you and watching a lot of your videos, I think the one that really struck out the most with me was the legal conversation between the builder and yourself. And you had mentioned something on there that really struck with me, and I kind of felt that where our relationship, I think, had the same. We were on the same plane there.
I have no idea what you're going to say.
Yes, going into something like this blind, not really knowing what to get into, because you trust the person that you're relying on that person,
right?
And and again, not to throw salt or anything, but it was you kind of feel alone when you're waiting for this build, and you're not really know what to anticipate, not really know what to getting, and that's something that there's just not a lot of data out there to give you that kind of understanding and knowledge.
To the people that don't understand this, there is a community. There's a couple builders that put together these time machines to varying degrees of screen accuracy.
Right.
And after years of doing this, the truth is, it's not a very complicated thing to do. And in fact, I was just telling you about a stock DeLorean I saw on eBay that's really cheap right now, and I'm considering just buying it and knocking this out for like 10 or 15 grand, because it really isn't that expensive to do this, to fake it, to do it right with the really original parts, and then it can get outrageously expensive.
Yeah.
But most people don't care about that. You're just trying to do a business, and there's so little information, and those that know it, instead of sharing it, they hoard it, and then they charge you copious amounts of money.
Yeah. Well,
and they just destroy it. And so when you called me, I know of there's three main builders, and I'm going to try not to name names, but a couple more of these, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to name some names. But there are three builders that basically do it. One of them does it kind of part-time. Two of them are very professional, or they act to be very professional about it. The one I went to literally robbed me. Like, I had my stock DeLorean sent to this person, and they took there was like $2,000 worth of parts that the guy packed into the DeLorean.
Yeah.
And either he or somebody at his shop put it all in a huge box and hid it, and then said, it was all garbage, we don't know what it is. And so it became this huge issue. I had to call the police. Once the police got involved, a package arrived at my house and everything was okay. But it was an awful way to begin my journey, because I'm in this open warfare online with the builder, and half the people are on the builder's side, half the people are on my side. I'll take that back. A third of the people are on my side, a third of the people are like, yeah, we're not on your side. Everybody knew he's a fucking asshole. Why did you go with him? And it's like, okay,
keyboard warriors on there, not knowing what's going on.
It's crazy. So at the end of the day, I was doing the same thing you want to do, which I would like to make a business. I'm not a super fan that has to have all these props. I thought I had a reasonable idea to make a lot of money and end up with a free time machine. That was all I was thinking.
And the thing is, and one question I have on that is, like, as I've told you many times, I'm ever so grateful for the time you've given to me.
Let's go back to that first email conversation real quick before we move on.
Yeah.
Because, so he emails me, we start talking, and I think the gist of the hour or so long conversation was, you're never going to lose your money. It's going to retain its value. If it all blows up, it doesn't really matter. You can sell it back for more than you buy. But let me tell you, I don't think you're going to make enough money to make a business out of this. And I said, listen, I've been doing this for a couple of years. I get a couple calls a year from Columbus, Ohio, and they always scoff at even the basic $200 an hour. Right? I'm not sure there is the expensive that cachet part of. in LA, it's everywhere. I can't tell you how many birthday parties that people are throwing $4,000 or $5,000 on it, and they're like $700 for a time machine. Yeah, we're gonna take you. Like, I'm the cheap part, right?
Yeah.
Me driving up, literally, you drive like half an hour. You drink all their drinks, eat all their food, go away. They give you $800, and you're the cheap part of the party, right? It's crazy here. But I just said, I know the Midwest. I don't think you can make. I think that 2015 money had passed. Mm-hmm. Something that happened I didn't realize at the time. Ready Player One blew up, and suddenly it's hot again. This year is hot as 2015 as it was for me. Yep. So I didn't realize that, but I do still think it will take you a good at least 5 years to even start to see. And if you can stomach that, and you're not doing this to make all your money back in a year, go for it. But there was a guy that just sold his. He had it for 3 months. He's like, yeah, this isn't going to work, and he sold it again. Yeah. He just bought it because he didn't have that mindset of, he was thinking in like 6 months he was going to make $80,000. Like, that's just not how it's going to happen.
Right. And so like I told you when I started, my first business, real quick, go ahead.
He said, "Go fuck yourself, Adam. I'm going to do it anyway." Yeah, thanks.
Not
for your
those terms.
No. But he was literally like, "Yeah, I'm going to do this." Click. And motherfucker, like a couple months later, he just did it, and I was so impressed.
He was a shoulder. You were a shoulder to cry on.
I was like,
dude, what's happening?
I was so impressed that he. Like, I like that. Like, if you know anything about me, I really like you going, fuck it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to own the fact that I went against what everybody said, and I'm just going to not bitch about it. I'm going to make this happen, and he made it happen, and he made a good website. He even found the fucking website host that I did my shit on. I might have told you Squarespace, but still, like, it kind of looks like you did it perfectly. It's working out for you. You made the t-shirts. This fucking smart mother goddamn bastard, he hosts my podcast. So I have to talk about his business every month, and I didn't want to do it because it was hardly any money, right? But I did it because I'm like, I respect him so much, I'm gonna have to sit here and talk about
the gifts. I
know. He sent my kids these fucking shirts that are my direct competitor. Dude, it's crazy, and it's all worked because my kids wear it, and every time I see it, I'm like, God. And you're not my direct competitor, but I used to get calls from Columbus, and I would have taken a brokerage deal from that call. Not anymore, because he's just swept it up. So, listen, you are battling with my business side and my just respect side, and my respect side is going to win. I want to see you do well. I think it's hilarious that you have made. I every time you do some sort of proactive choice, all I think of is all the other time machine owners that just bitched and whined and said, "Why don't I get those gigs?" And I mean, I would literally sit and talk to them. I did the same conversations with those guys I did with you, and I'm like, dude, it's 2015. Where's your website?
Right.
What the fuck, dude?
Right.
Like, how are they going to find? A lot of the people that bought these figured, I'm going to buy it. I'm just going to drive it around town, like with a sign on my door or something, and everybody's going to be so enamored. And the biggest problem with renting this is people don't know it's even possible.
Right.
I still, with all the coverage I get, from news to my rentitaloring.com is so seen on Google. And part of the reason it is because when I advertise with YouTube, I've explained this to you, but that's part of Google. And when Google sees you're advertising with YouTube, they go, oh, and they just push you the fuck up. And that is a huge piece of information to tell everybody.
Yes.
And again, you have to be proactive, and he spent the money, he did it, and he's doing well. So I had all the respect in the world, and that's why I'm sitting here with you now. And it doesn't help me monetarily, but it's awesome because I think it's awesome that instead of bitching and whining.
Well, keep in mind too.
Yeah.
We have never met each other.
Never met. This is the first time we met today.
First time. No FaceTime, nothing. Everything's just been on the phone.
Yeah.
But you've been such an intricate part of this business starting. I have several quotes that I try to live my life by. One of them is by an old English professor that says, "Nothing gives you greater pleasure in life than doing things others say cannot be done."
Yep.
And this is one of them. When I started martial arts school, people told me the same thing. Now, Scott, what are you really going to do for a living? I'm like, That's what I'm going to do. 13 years later, I'm still doing it and doing very well. This car is another challenge, but it's something that I willingly accept.
Yeah.
If I fail, I'm going to fail, but at least I attempted it because I don't want to live in the life of what ifs. And I am going to have those low times. I might have those great times, but the fact of the matter is that, like you were saying, you got to stay positive and keep pushing forward. What are you doing? Are you marketing this way? What's your target? Are you doing this? You're doing that? You're constantly coming up with new inventive ways to get your product out there, because like I said, people just don't know. When people think of holding parties and get-togethers, they buy the gigantic animal balloons and all this other crap, and it's like, well, you got this, and really $200 an hour, and then when they see people doing it,
well, and what kills me is
crazy.
The amount of people that pay $1,000 for a photo booth.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I tell them, first of all, that's your camera.
Right.
I don't give a fuck where you are. It is very cool. They print it up, and that's awesome. But you know what? Inevitably, what everybody wants is, can you email it to me so I can put it on Facebook? So it's great that these photo booths, they have printers. That's nice. But there is no better photo booth than the DeLorean time machine that people are sitting in and taking pictures of and putting on Facebook right that second, or putting on Instagram right that second. Yeah. And that's a huge market that I think... I'm doing a wedding I'm trying to end it this month, and they're a little concerned about the price, and I'm like, guys, do you have a photo booth? Of course. I'm like, that's your price right there.
Right.
Like, instead of having me just drive you into the reception, why don't I stay there? Why isn't that your photo booth? You know what I mean? So there's other ways to look at it. I have to ask you. So you had to hear his idea at some point. What was your thought?
Dun, 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 dun.
I needed a lot of data and research, and why?
Right.
Because I need all the facts before I can move forward. So we completed an exercise on PowerPoint that was painful for him. I mean, absolutely painful. I made him research and go through who is our target market, how many businesses are in the area, who are you marketing to, and why. And it was painful. I'm like, how far are you on this? It's like 25 pages. 2 weeks later, I'm on page 3, and I'm like,
get wrong.
I need the information.
Definitely the fire underneath. That's for sure, bro.
Yeah,
that is for
it
sure.
Is, because if I'm going to commit my time, because I also work full time, and I have little people that need taken care of, and if this is going to be a venture for both of us, then I need data and statistics as to why this is actually going to work.
Right.
So he came back at me with the information. We sat through, we kind of walked through all of it, and then it was just go time.
Well, there is a huge safety net, and that is that car is never going to not be worth something.
Correct.
And I think that's a unlike other businesses.
Yeah.
There's really, the risk is a little lower as long as you keep it up and you get a good car. Right. At the end of the day, you could stop right now, literally take all of your expenses, put it on eBay for that amount, and get that amount easily. So it does lessen it a little bit. What happened with me is I took a loan from my mother-in-law, which added all sorts of weight. It became 1,000 times my new mother-in-law. Like, just had a second baby, just got married, kind of like it was a close bam, bam, bam. I did not want to do that, but I did it because I just kept thinking, man, I'm pretty sure the news is going to go nuts in October 2015.
Right.
And if this isn't working, which it wasn't in 2014, by the way. By the way, it was. I think I made like $4,000 in 2014, and I was like, "Ooh, shit! I made a mistake. This is not going to work." And I was kind of preparing myself for that, and then all of a sudden, the clock struck midnight. Right, literally midnight, January 1st, 2015, and all of these news shows started saying it. This is the year Marty McFly went to in Back to the Future.
Right.
And I remember with my jaw dropped going, boom, emails, text, constant corporate events. Oh my God, we're going to do a trade show about going to the future. We want to, and all of a sudden, I doubled what I put into my car, right? And I think, it's funny, I just wrote an entry about this. The zeitgeist, which is literally just mainstream media and public thought at that exact moment, that is going to fuel your business. As long as you have an established website, that is going to fuel your business more than anything you can actually physically do yourself. Ready Player One blew everything up. I had 26 events in March and April. That's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
that's nuts.
That's really intense, and we're talking like 1,000 event. Like, this is not little. That's $30,000 in 2 months. Is a lot of fucking money to make that a part-time car.
Let me tell you something, just to start on that. That was one thing that you cannot really prepare for. You may out there, no disrespect to people watching this, but what you may not understand, it's not that simple just to drive the car out there and just let it sit. I mean, there's a lot of prep work that goes into that. It's a lot of stress because you got people going around your vehicle, something breaks, a lot of things can happen with that, and that, like you were saying, it is your livelihood, and there's a lot of setup and delivery and unload, and it is a lot of work. It's more detailed than just driving a car, setting it there, and just walking away.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if it was that?
Oh my gosh!
And the other thing that you have to express to people, and it's not getting any better, we should literally add 10% to our price every fucking 6 months, because as the years move on, we're talking about a almost 40-year-old car now.
Right.
All the rubber's breaking down. All the plastic. It was not a good car in the 80s.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So it's certainly not a good in the 20s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're getting to a point of...
Yeah, it doesn't sound like that in the movie, guys. Just FYI. That was all sound effects. Okay?
Mine does.
Yeah.
Mine does. It's loud. It's really loud. No, it's the craziest. There is that part of it, and the other part that you haven't even run into yet. At the DeLorean plants in Houston, there's I don't know which quarter panel it is. I don't know what piece of the stainless steel it is. They have 2 parts left. Period. That's it. When they're gone, they're gone.
Oh my god.
Meaning, if somebody hit you, it doesn't matter how much insurance you have. They can't make that part.
Right. Wow.
Then what do you do? So that's why you charge the mileage. That's why it's the amount it is.
It is, right.
It's not because you're not busy enough. It's because I personally don't want to take that goddamn car out.
Yeah.
And in fact, you're enticing me with money. And as I get more money, I need more to be enticed.
Right.
Right? Like when I first started, $200 for it. Now it's like, dude, if it's not 6-7, man,
we were just talking about this today, weren't we?
you get to a point where, you know what, dude, I just can't. And that's actually most of the people now around this area.
Right.
If it's not a corporate event, they won't do it. I am still doing all the little parties because I have the heart for, little kids that come here.
Sure.
It breaks. The amount of people, this is the craziest thing about being in this part of the country, the amount of people that came wanting to do the Back to the Future ride at Universal, which is 5 minutes from me, right? Mm-hmm. It isn't at Universal anymore.
Right.
So they looked it up and they saw the Marty package, which with tax and everything, it's like $300. So they paid me $300, which their family of 3 would have gone to Universal. They pay me to take them in the time machine to Marty McFly's house. It's 1 hour out of their day, 1 hour of my day. And it's every country. Japan, New Zealand, Germany, it's a huge thing, and I'm literally holding back tears most of the time I do those, because I cannot believe these people are standing in my backyard, and somehow this shitty little house in the valley with a crazy backyard. The backyard is kind of cool.
It's really cool.
But the shitty little house in the valley.
And it's not a shitty house.
It's somehow it's 1,000 square feet.
It's awesome.
We were on top of each other. It's awful.
Fine.
I'd give anything to have a house in New Albany with 3,000 square feet. Just saying. Anyway.
We would too.
Right.
Yeah, exactly, brother. Exactly. I hope you heard that.
That's fucking funny. That's funny. But either way, there is that empathetic part of me that I really do like doing that.
Yeah.
But the corporate ones pay the bills, man. Good Lord. Have you gotten your first? You haven't gotten your big,
Adam,
first big
no,
one
we've
yet.
had 3
events.
3 big events. The third one is happening in Chicago for Experian.
Oh, nice.
And we're going up there for 2 days. The car's going to be stationed up there in the hotel.
Awesome. How did they find you?
Bruce.
Oh, very
My builder,
good.
Bruce.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Very
Let me tell you something about my builder. One thing that I encourage all potential people wanting to go into a business like this, because it's one thing that I did not essentially, because there's no data out there. Adam was really the only guy, the only owner that gave me the time of day on there, and for the most part, I was really taking a lot of risk and chance. And I would honestly say, because regardless of a lot of the headache that occurred with it, and again, it's just part of just not knowing that side of the process of the business, was the build and how long it actually takes, because it is a custom thing. You don't know what you're doing. You don't know what the part of it. It is a duration, and you need to expect for there to be an extremely long time. If you're going to think you can get the car back in 3 weeks, you're sorely mistaken. It is a long process. But I will tell you,
I got my car back.
But with my builder, Bruce, we created this network, and I got to know Andy from Rent DeLorean, AG, and so I've gotten gigs from them. So
no, Andy McFly. That's not AG. AG is San Luis Obispo.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who's
Andy McFly Strano? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
That's
Rent DeLorean.
Thank you. Okay.
AG is Doc Brown's Time Machine Rental.com.
Sorry, Andy. Didn't mean to crisscross.
There's a whole business side of this. It's nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. But I will tell you, it's one thing that definitely do your research on that part. That was the one thing that
I don't want to slam all the builders, but the truth is, if you want to do this, you can do it by yourself real easy. I hate to be a dick about it because, now Bruce burned me. No offense. I mean,
no.
It is what it is. No. If you have a good relationship with him, that's awesome. I would not recommend him again because of how that was. I have an issue with unprofessionalism. I have an issue with being not communicative.
Yeah.
And all the awful things I can say about my builder, he always responded to texts. He always kept me up to date, and he never did what happened with you.
Now, when you went in, when you were going through that process, because Claire and I were talking about this on the plane to you, I had you, which again, very, very thankful for that. Who did you have?
Nobody.
Like, I don't know how you kept your sanity during that time. How did you get through that?
Here's what I did. I gave him, I don't know, 15. You bought that car, which was at the time, which seemed like a lot of money. It was $22,000, and I fronted him 15, so I'm 35, 40 into it, and then all I did was study Back to the Future, study every fucking inch of the car, look at pictures, and catch him when he was shortchanging me. Because if you're going to be anal about this, it's very easy to fuck somebody who doesn't know, right? There are down to zip ties and wires and parts, and I literally, my only job for the 2 months it took for him to do it, because he did it very quickly, was to annoy him. The bottom line, I said, I'm flying out before you ship it. I've made the date. I told him when it was. I'm going there. I'm videotaping it. I'm doing it for my site. And he's like, I'm videotaping it too. And we were both, like, there was this mail thing, and I was like, it's fine. I said, but I'm gonna hold. And then when I got there, it's on tape. I mean, I took my part of it down. He kept his up. Like, there's like a little war with what, I took mine down because I don't want to give him any more press.
Right.
Because he's literally a criminal. But I saw mistakes that he made that I called him on beforehand. And I was sitting there weighing in my head, is it worth it to say something? Or do I just get the car back, fix it myself? And I'm literally a calculator in my head. Like, that'll cost me about $300. This is after spending the most money, the highest rate you could possibly have spent for the car.
Right.
I realized right at that moment, I'm going to have to actually be a modifier. I'm going to have to be a builder. I'm going to have to be a mechanic. And it's something I told you as well. Do not think you aren't going to be a mechanic.
Right.
Do not think you're just going to have somebody you can send it to. It's nice if
Number
you can.
two thing, folks, right there. You gotta know how to repair that car.
You also have to be a little fearless in taking on really. I mean, it's pretty simple shit, but it's still, you're taking apart your fucking car and you got a gig coming.
Right.
The last gig I did, this guy made a perfect analogy. He goes, you're actually like Marty McFly at the end of Back to the Future every gig. And I'm like, holy shit, you're fucking right. Like, because you're
It's
going,
true.
oh, come on, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it, oh, God damn it. Good. Every fucking gig. That's what you go through every time.
Yes.
And even if it starts right away, okay, it might stall. You know, I mean, it's a 40-year-old car, and it's somebody's wedding. Like, I cannot, listen, oh, well, just get a flatbed. How are you going to get it on the flatbed if it won't fucking start? Right?
right.
Like, guys, it's not that easy. So,
Right.
and half of the gigs I do are driving.
Yeah.
People want to drive it. And now that this goddamn fastest DeLorean comes out, now I'm getting all these calls of, dude, is it that loud? Like, dude, is it that fast? Can we go 80 miles an hour? Like, and it's like,
gosh.
you know, yeah, we can. Actually, it takes about 3 seconds now. I'm amazed how fast I can just go to 80 and back now. So, yeah, it is copious amounts of stress. And I'll be honest, if it is your sole means of income, don't fucking do it. This guy has another means of income. He can take 5 years to get his money back because he's doing something else. He can put his foot in it. He can try this advertising. He can do this. He's got years.
Yeah.
He's more than prepared. He's going to be fine. He's going to be around in 5 years. I know people that thought they were going to be rich instantly. They don't have the car anymore.
Right.
And that's the other thing. You really want a time machine? Just wait a few months. Check eBay.
Check eBay.
It's going to happen because so many people in the past few years thought they were going to get rich.
Well, there was a guy that was on. You mentioned to me the other day.
That guy put it on Facebook. This is a fucking awful story I haven't told yet, and I don't mean to tell it, but right when my car was having all these troubles, I fixed a big issue with my car. I'm no longer in the market for a time machine. But in July, it was really bad. And a guy I was friends with, and I'd talked to a few times, had gotten it on the West Coast. Not near here, and he was selling it. He just it was 4th of July, he put up a post, I'm selling this, 50 grand. And I'm like, oh, fuck me. I wrote him immediately. I'm like, I will buy it, I have cash in hand, I will fly to you, oh my God. He said, cool, call me in the morning. I'm like, oh, fuck, thank God. So, and I was like, I tell you we're buying a second time machine because I needed a backup. I needed to know that I could take this, my new car apart and try to figure out all the problems. That's the problem. I can't have any downtime when you have a gig, 2 gigs every week.
Right.
Right? So I get the call of Marty's like, well, you know, I hate to tell you this, but 3 minutes before you texted me, somebody else texted me that he was interested. I'm gonna give it to him. And I'm like, whoa, like play us against each other. Like, okay, I'll give you 1,000
Right.
more. Like, and he's like, well, I want to be a gentleman about it. And I'm like, I'm kind of seeing why you had an issue with the business side of things, buddy. Like, I would never be insulted if I'm going to buy something and there's 2 sellers. Yeah, I was easily willing to go 5,000 or 6,000 up more. You know,
Right.
and it's funny. That guy got the car. It's near here. He came here with the car. We sat at the bar. He's a great guy. I'm so glad he got it. And I even told him, like, you would have paid a little more. He's like, yeah, I would have fucking paid a little more. That guy was 2 emails away from $6,000 more. I'll to this day, I will not understand why he didn't at least say, hey, I have something. It was 3 minutes. I texted it 11 minutes, so, yeah,
Well,
anyway.
there's the problem. You're putting...
He was just trying... He needed the money quick, obviously,
Yeah.
but I was literally willing with cash. Here you go.
Right.
So that's going to happen again. So I'm not going to talk anybody out of doing this business. I think if you are professional, first tip for everybody who wants to do this, put your prices on your website and be honest about it. Do not do a fill-out form where people have to give you all their information and then quote them based on what you think you can get out of them. What the fuck? This makes
Gee, I'm hearing this one coming in.
Dude, this note... Oh, you don't have the price on your website?
We got it
We have
starting at 2. Cut!
I'm sorry. No, here's the thing.
I thought you were just rousing me, man.
No, I was talking about everybody else. I thought you had the website. Dude,
that's
200
great.
hour, $200 a mile. I'll tell you this right now. Charge $200 an hour, $2 a mile. The reason you charge that with a minimum of 2 hours, the corporate people are going to need you longer, and they're going to appreciate the fact that they're getting the same deal as the everyman. You're going to end up making $1,500 from the corporate people. They're going to need you all day because those fucking events are longer, and you're charging for load-in time.
Right.
Right? So if they need you there at 7 a.m., the fucking event doesn't start till 10, you're making that money.
Right.
You cap them at 15 because a day rate of 15 is nice. But what corporate people fucking hate is feeling like you're gouging them.
Right. True.
They hate it. They're like, fuck you. I get every corporate event in this area because I'm honest. And I say, it's $200 an hour, $2 to $3. Now it's $2 to $3 a mile. You've seen the traffic out here. It's so fucking bad. Like,
yes,
it's unreal out here.
Crap.
But I haven't and the reason is because I am accountable to what I wrote there. If you just say starting at, they're going to be like, it's going to give people misgivings. Now it's great. You'll get the little ones. You'll get the small ones. And also you honestly probably don't have a whole lot of competition other than rentthedeleorian.com, which I'm going to tell them exactly what I told you. And now you're going to make less because I'm probably going to try to take a cut of it. Right?
Well, of course.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, and to be honest, sometimes I never take a cut of it. Honestly, if you're like a new...
But it's good business, too. Let's put that out there. It is.
Like, we're doing Majorie Stoneman Douglas High School, the mass shooting that happened in Florida, right?
Okay.
I got a call from one of the kids. They have an event on Friday, and I'm doing it completely free of charge. Jesus Christ. I'm like the guy, I mean, it's a 3.5 hour drive for the guy. And it's really and he's doing it for like $800. It should be like a $3,000 gig.
Wow.
And for some cases, obviously, we're going to change that. But for the most part, when somebody calls me, I'm not negotiating. I'm literally repeating what they can already see on the website.
Right.
And if they're smart, they're going to go, let's see if this guy's fucking with me. They're going to go on the website. And they like to see clearly what it is, like it's Amazon.
Right.
Right? And the problem with, you at least give a starting point. Right? Mm-hmm. But the people that sit there and just make an open, random quote, people know that they're going to get screwed depending on their... If it's a wedding, they're going to upcharge them. Mm-hmm. People at weddings get fucked enough. Trust me.
Yeah.
Do $200 an hour, $2-3 a mile, depending on traffic. If it's rush hour, even rush hour in Columbus is fucking awful. Like, believe me, I've driven in it. It doesn't matter. It's awful.
Nothing like this, though, brother. I'll tell you that.
It is. It's because our rush hour is like 6 hours.
I will take Columbus traffic any day.
Yeah, but the Columbus traffic annoys you because you're like, there's nobody fucking here.
Yeah,
Why?
right. Yeah, right.
Why are there so many people on the road right now? Yeah, so it's a little different feeling, but I beg you to be honest with your prices, and that is the only thing I think I've done differently than other people, because the corporate they're people too,
right?
And they know when they're getting a fuck job. And listen, they email everybody. Why do they always come to me? It's because I literally try to efficiency them down to 6.5. I try to help them and get it as cheap as I can do it. And these other guys are like, oh, it's $1,500. Oh, but it's a 3 hour. Yeah, but it's fucking AT&T, dude. I'm gonna charge $1,500. When am I gonna get an AT&T gig again? I'm like, no, stop, dude. Yeah. Don't do that. Charge the mileage. Make sure you get, if you're over, like in Chicago, apparently you're overnight, get your hotel, get all that kind of stuff. Right. They're gonna do that. Charge your flat rate. Charge for the mileage. It's a lot of work to get that car there.
Yeah, we get the start. I totally hear what you're saying on that. That was one area that Claire and I were bouncing back and forth because even like you had told me, yeah, right. You had even said to me once that the market, it's just what is the market going to provide, and it's kind of like testing the waters a little bit.
Right.
And I have the ability to do that because several reasons. Number one, I've got my full business that pretty much covers me. And then saying, okay, what can we do? What's it really costing me to do this and do that? And so we're able to, because originally I had that on there, and I'm like, man, I don't know if this is going to be too high. Is it going to be too low? Are people going to just totally not even call? Because
I would even consider doing
that shit.
Listen,
because
I would even consider doing $150 an hour and $150 a mile, something like that. It doesn't matter what the number is. It's the fact that you give the number so people in their head know what they're signing on to before they call you.
Right.
And then they don't necessarily know.
Now, have you ever gotten, when you've done, one thing I've noticed with the descriptions that we get is they kind of request some very unique, they'll be like, well, okay, it's like, they say, well, we just went out there for an hour. Like, for me, anywhere within 20 miles within Columbus is $250 an hour. And that just includes everything. Mileage, set up, step down. So just, bear with me for a second. So then, I'll say, but that's just for station. That's just for the car to be stationed. They're like, well, we want we want to be able to, can we do a ride along, and can we, maybe go from here to here and then go there, and that be within the hour. And it's like, well, okay, now you're, now we got to kind of add some things, because what I'm charging you is just for that stationed fee. And, so one thing I found when we get in the description that it's kind of worked for me a little bit is just knowing what exactly are they wanting the car to do. Now, and I'm curious, in your experience, because you've done this a heck of a lot longer than I have.
323 events as of today.
Yeah. 323.
I'm very
Congratulations, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
But the question is...
This isn't going to run out? Oh, shit.
Where are we?
That red light's going to run 30 seconds. Here we go. Ask the question. Hey, go.
Okay. Well, what have you had on the descriptions? How does it happen?
I always do $200 an hour, $2 a mile, period.
Period.
And the reason is because if they need me to drive, tell me where you want me to be. If they need me to pick up. But I have a 2 hour minimum, period. I'm never taking it out for less than 2 hours.
Gotcha.
If they want to come here and shoot, I've had a lot of people come here and shoot at GolfCon, put up a green screen. They do it for $200. I'm like, good for you. I sit and drink coffee in my kitchen.
You do too.
Yeah. But I have a nice little setup and they can do that.
Right.
But no, if you want me to make that car move,
$200.
It's $400 flat, basically, right?
Yeah.
And then mileage, usually it's pretty close. You might get $40, 50, whatever. But that car's not moving for $400. It just isn't worth it. Now, maybe for you it's $150, 2 hour minimum. Now you're at $300.
$3.
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
Okay? And yes, work in mileage. Goddamn. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to go 3 miles than it is to go 20 miles.
Oh,
it just is.
Yeah.
Especially when I got in time machine. When people are going, oh, you're in a time machine. I'm like, yeah, I know, motherfucker. Yeah. So, all right. More Business 101 after this.
Yes.
And it's awesome meeting you.
Sir, as always, a pleasure.
There we go.
Now, come here.
Nice to meet you. Awesome. And I'm glad that
and one more, because you got me drinking this stuff. So
he hasn't drank.
Yeah, I'm drinking. Hey,
anything.
Listen. I'm sipping the sucker. Just as requested.
It's all water at this point.
Yeah,
it's literally all water at this point.
Hey, listen, for a non-drinker, it's pretty good. It's still pretty strong.
You seem you're very happy. Yeah.
Call an Uber.
That's intense.
Call a Clara.
Call a Clara.
She would hit me.
Call a Clara.